Alexander was just 11 and Gabrielle was 6 when the two passed away following a tragic boating accident in 2013. It was Father Andrew Seba's first funeral mass as a recently ordained priest.
God was really gracious with both John and Ann. Yeah, I remember the very night of the accident. There were hundreds of people at the hospital, but there really was a supernatural grace, certainly, that God gave them to even be alive, really.
Well, Father Andrew said in his homily in the funeral, he said that I know that God will do something with this. As terrible and as horrible as this is, you know, I feel like he prophesied in that moment because he was talking about how there were lives that were saved with the organs.
Alex and Gabby's sister Adriana survived, but spent months in the hospital with a traumatic brain injury. John and Ann Mansour found solace in their faith as several Chaldean seminarians from Sacred Heart Major Seminary offered support and prayers.
John and Ann, from the very beginning, felt this call to be able to help other people. And so they did. They started this grievance group. And ever since then, I know that so many lives have been touched, and they've been able to find God in their grief and in their suffering.
You know, from day one, they opened their hearts and their minds, and were there to show us, you know, God's graces and amazing gifts. And I think it was their way to kind of say, don't lose sight of God, stay focused on what's important here, and He'll provide you all the strength and graces to get you through this tragedy. And from that day forward, that bond continued to strengthen.
John and Ann knew they wanted to give back to the seminarians, and the Stride for Seminarians annual walk and fundraiser at the Detroit Zoo was born.
The first walk was a really crazy rainy day, and people still came out. And ever since then, because we were able to make the best out of the walk, and it really turned into such a beautiful day, there is just this feeling in the air, joy, happiness, love. Everybody's in a good mood, even though it's 7:30 in the morning. So it's just, I feel like it's a special day where God really just places His favor on that day.
Just seeing the whole community coming out and supporting our cause and remembering our kids, it's helped us in our grieving process.
And I feel as no matter what we do, and the Strides being a very big part of our life now, but anything we do to give to others or give back, there's a big reward in terms of healing and getting that kind of sensation back to us that helps us continue to heal.
John and Ann found they had a calling to help others, so they launched a Grieving Through Hope and Faith support group held at ECRC. These efforts to help others have been beneficial to their own healing.
Thank God we had all these people in our life that came into our life that we didn't know, all these seminarians, the priests, the nuns, and you know, we thank God every day for them being in our life, and it has helped us tremendously. There's people out there that don't have that support.
One guest speaker, Father John Ricardo, left the group with a message of hope. Since the tragedy, many families have leaned on John and Ann Mansour for strength in the midst of their own suffering.
One important takeaway was, you know, we ought to not continue to question why, but how do we respond to the situation? How do we cope with the challenges? And how do we get through every day? And that's all, I think, determined and defined by how we respond to the situation at hand.
When someone looks at their own life and sees the struggles that they have, you know, they look at the hope that John and Ann have and think to themselves, if they can put a smile on their face, if they can go out there and inspire people, then certainly I can too. And I think that is greater, that sign of hope is significantly more impactful than a walk at the zoo.
Don't ever give up, regardless of the tragedy, regardless of your challenges, regardless of your setbacks or downfalls. You know, we're here to do God's work, and most importantly, you know, don't lose sight of God. In the midst of our tragedies, in the midst of our busyness out there in today's world, He should be the forefront, always and forever.
And it's easy to give up on life and give up on everything. And, you know, we're not here to give up. God has kept us here and given us strength to keep going. And, you know, as hard as it is, as painful as life is, He has given us the strength to keep going. And this pain is never going to go away. You know, it's never going to be healed. But you just learn to live with pain every day. You learn to live in this new life.
Thank you very much. We're proud of you, and thanks for all of you for joining us here on this very special celebration with all our family. We love you all. Thank you.